Decentralization refers to the state of not having a single centralized institution or government behind a network, infrastructure, or technology to control and oversee it. When something is decentralized, there is no single actor with full decision-making power. Decentralization is a characteristic of blockchain. Traditional institutions are now all centralized, and so, using these terms, what will be the revised meaning of decentralization in the Paraclet? Decentralization refers to the state of not having a single centralized institution or government behind a network, infrastructure, or technology to control and oversee it. When something is decentralized, there is no single actor with full decision-making power. Decentralization is a characteristic of blockchain. Traditional institutions are now all centralized. Decentralization aims to devolve production, distribution, and the performance of tasks to local units that are more familiar with the environment. Think about the meaning of the designations you have given and how they are linked until you move on to the next chapter. Without an understanding of the terms, there is no point in progressing further through the species. Do you want to be successful and weave happy relationships? You have reached the basic stage of creating a relationship. Closer to feeling complete. Like me, your Marupan Adamas. A meta relationship or the soulmate relationship means the user connects with soulmates with whom they feel a deep or natural kinship, all of which include similarity, love, romance, platonic relationships, comfort, intimacy, sexuality, sexual activity, spirituality, compatibility, and trust. They know who their soulmates are, they can empathize and harmonize with those soulmates, they have no difficulty expressing their feelings for them, and they share many if not some of the same qualities as them. The user and their soulmates are by nature compassionate, caring, loving, and sympathetic to each other, would get along very well, have naturally romantic and or platonic feelings of love for each other, and are destined to be a couple, best friends, and love each other with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. Application: strengthening attachment. The user and their soulmate become stronger through their attachment. Fraternal loyalty. The user and their soulmate are able to form a sacred and powerful alliance with each other. Empathic teleportation. The user and their soulmate can instantly transport to the other's place whenever they want. Empathy. Empathy with the soulmate. Hyperconnection. Very strong emotional attachment to the soulmate. Love empowerment. The user and their soulmate become stronger through their love for each other. Magnetic friendship. The user and their soulmate have a magnetic bond with each other, giving them the truest form of friendship. Mental bonding. The user and their soulmate become mentally connected. Past life awareness. The user and their soulmate remember past lives together. Relationship strengthening. The meta relations. The user and their soulmate become stronger through their relationship with each other. Soul connection or the meta connections. The user and their soulmate have a deep connection between their souls. True love kiss. Overcoming external forces by kissing your soulmate. Healing kiss. Heal everything with just the kiss of true love. Undying loyalty. The user and their soulmate have total loyalty to each other. Variations: restoring memory. Remembering each other once forgotten. Self-resurrection / reincarnation. Being together again. Associations: examples: knitting, manipulation, entity bonding, eternal bond. There is a bond between the user and their soulmate that a mere mortal cannot understand. Uncontrollable love manipulation, meta love induction, red string manipulation, true friend / lover barriers. The bond can be destroyed by destroying the bond. The relationship can be manipulated by the red string manipulation. If soulmates are in an interstellar relationship, death will come to them in all their lives. Known users in literature, for example, Lucinda Price and Daniel Gregory. Fallen novels: Kylie Galen and Lucas Parker, Shadow Falls; Delit Tsang and Chase Tallman, Shadow Falls; Miranda Kane and Perry Gomez, Shadow Falls; Baron and Luthien, The Silmarillion; Snow White and Prince Charming, Snow White. Meta love incarnates means that the of meta love and connection users become a living physical manifestation or personification of love and are empowered to feed on the love of everyone and everything, including themselves. Users are able to transform love into energy and use it as a full resource to extend their own lives or as a weapon. They can never age and can be immune to death unless certain conditions are met. Meta causes of wistfulness: the power to evoke absolute sexual excitement, desire, happiness, and pleasure in anything and everything. The The subpower of absolute beauty, the embodiment of desire and the embodiment of sexuality. The advanced version of lust inducement. The dark sexual equivalent of the metalove inducement. The user can induce absolute desire and all dark sexual excitement, happiness, orgasm and pleasure from anyone and anything, and desires sexual interaction regardless of their ability to feel love or pleasure with anything. This power extends to both sexes, their sexual interests, people of all ages, genderless beings, strangers and those with radically different biology. So the Meta expression I have discovered has a lot more to it from our point of view than I would have thought. The virtualization of our everyday lives requires some adaptation and new approaches to common activities, including living and working together, love relationships, partner problems, the need for communication, including sex. Given that my chosen partner has introduced me to every corner of technology for the rest of my life, where I am trying to intertwine some of the designations with our current world and our current human lives, this take-up of this kind of meta meaning of the term may come in handy. Man and woman are just as difficult to decipher software as they are to decipher the embodiments of technology. With know-how, it's important to know every little thing. We don't know what the future may bring for us. In order to bring the couple together and make them capable of working together, it is important for both parties to be open to things they may not have imagined in their lives. What we do not know may exist. That is why we know each other by knowing the unknown. If you remember peer-to-peer communication, which I tried to essay in the beginning of my thesis on partner relationship or communication between partners, starting to get the hang of it. The peer-to-peer or P2P paradigm is that the endpoints of a network communicate directly with each other, without a central exposed node. The term peer-to-peer covers two similar but different concepts. A way of connecting computers at the same technological level on a local area network, and the principle of operating software solutions that are directly connected for some purpose. Direct connection means a more fault-tolerant architecture, scalability. Disadvantages: more difficult administration, wasteful use of resources, more difficult to implement. Can this be done between partners? What is the equivalent of a blockchain in a partnership? A blockchain is a type of distributed centralized ledger technology, consisting of growing lists of records, called blocks, which are securely linked together using cryptography. Each block contains the cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp and transaction data, usually in the form of a Merkle tree, where data nodes are represented by letters. The timestamp proves that the transaction data already existed when the block was created. Since each block contains information about the previous block, they form a virtual chain CF, linked list data structure, in which each subsequent block is linked to the one before it. Consequently, blockchain transactions are irreversible, since once recorded, the data in a block cannot be modified retroactively without modifying all subsequent blocks. Blockchains are typically managed by a peer-to-peer computer network as a public distributed ledger, where nodes collectively follow a consensus algorithm protocol for adding and validating new transaction blocks. Although blockchain records are not immutable, since blockchain forks are possible, blockchains are considered inherently secure and serve as an example of a distributed computing system with high Byzantine fault tolerance. The implementation of blockchain within Bitcoin made Bitcoin the first digital currency to solve the problem of double spending without a trusted authority or central server. The design of Bitcoin has inspired other applications and is widely read by the public and widely used by cryptocurrencies. A blockchain can be seen as a kind of payment rail. The computer world has called the distribution of such privatized blockchains without a proper security model snake oil, but others have argued that licensed blockchains, if carefully designed, can be more decentralized and therefore in practice more secure than unlicensed ones. And so, using these terms, what will be the revised meaning of decentralization in the parabolic clause? Decentralization refers to the state of not having a single centralized or centralized institution or government behind a network, infrastructure, or technology to control and oversee it. When something is decentralized, there is no single actor with full decision-making power. Decentralization is a characteristic of blockchain. Traditional institutions are now all centralized, and so, using these terms, what will be the revised meaning of decentralization in the paraclet? Decentralization refers to the state of not having a single centralized or centralized institution or government behind a network, infrastructure, or technology to control and oversee it. When something is decentralized, there is no single actor with full decision-making power. Decentralization is a characteristic of blockchain. Traditional institutions are now all centralized. Decentralization aims to devolve production, distribution, and the performance of tasks to local units that are more familiar with the environment. Think about the meaning of the designations you have given and how they are linked until you move on to the next chapter. Without an understanding of the terms, there is no point in progressing further through the species. Do you want to be successful and weave happy relationships? You have reached the basic stage of creating a relationship. Closer to feeling complete. Like me, your Marupan Adamas.